The quarterback you just saw ball out in Super Bowl 57 is actually one of the most disrespected QBs in the NFL. And if it wasn't for a BS holding call, he might even be your Super Bowl champion this year.
I do not believe that Jalen Hurts is the long-term solution.
So my takeaway on Jalen Hurts is I don't think he's a franchise quarterback.
Can he take us to the championship? I don't believe he can.
Jalen Hurts, quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles, was actually benched at Alabama while playing under Nick Saban.
So why do you continually try to get me to say something that doesn't respect one of them? I'm not going to, so quit asking.
He did not even start as a rookie. Instead, he had to be a second string to Carson Wentz. And not only was he a backup to Carson Wentz, but he was even a third string QB at one point in the NFL. And during Jalen Hurts' rookie season, his head coach was even accused of deliberately losing games. In the 2020 draft, Jalen Hurts fell to the second round. Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, who started over him at Alabama, Justin Herbert, and even Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers all were drafted above Jalen Hurts. And even though Jalen Hurts has led his team to the Super Bowl championship game, the former second-round pick is still doubted by analysts and pundits to this day. People claim he benefits from a loaded roster, a ton of weapons, and a great defense.
He's got an all-star team around him. He's not asked to do what they do. Run up the middle for 8. Run up the middle for 8.
Look at the Eagles. Is it Hurts or the team? I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think it's
With Jalen Hurts, I just don't see the pocket awareness. I see he bails too fast, not terribly accurate. I don't see it.
They say that Jalen Hurts cannot throw and he can only make plays with his legs. He's one-dimensional. But no one could deny the results of Jalen Hurts in his NFL career so far. As Hurts makes plays in the Super Bowl, his haters are left speechless, not knowing how to make sense of the rise of Jalen Hurts. If you want more NFL content, make sure you subscribe to WiFiWillie NFL for more videos like this. Jalen Hurts played high school football at Channelville High in Channelville, Texas. His father, Avrion, was the football coach during Jalen's entire high school career. After becoming one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks in the country, Alabama would send their offensive coordinator, former Raiders head coach Lane Kiffin, to go and recruit Jalen Hurts. In 2016, Jalen Hurts was the first true freshman quarterback to start for the Alabama Crimson Tide in 32 years. He broke the single-season record for rushing yards and rushing TDs by a QB at Alabama. But in 2016, Hurts and his fellow Alabama teammates like Calvin Ridley, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Marlon Humphrey, Deron Payne, and Jonathan Allen would fall in the national championship game to Clemson, led by Deshaun Watson, Hunter Renfrow, Mike Williams, Christian Wilkins, Dexter Lawrence, and also Clelin Ferrell, the former number 4 overall pick. Hurts had an impressive freshman year to say the least.
I'm so proud of this guy for what he's done this year. I can't even tell you.
But in 2017, the arrival of Tua Tagovailoa lurked behind the background of Hurts his sophomore year. Tua was only a freshman at this time, but many believed he had a good chance to beat out Hurts for the starting job. And even though Jalen Hurts led the Alabama Crimson Tide to the national championship game against Georgia, in a controversial move at halftime, Nick Saban would bench Jalen Hurts for the freshman Tua Tagovailoa, and Tua would go on to win the game and win the national title for Alabama. And a lot of people praised Jalen Hurts for his humility and sportsmanship after the championship game.
The action when you found out Tua was going to start the second half, honestly.
He was going to step in and do his thing.
Jalen Hurts was not salty at all, even though this was a move that would completely destroy the ego of most quarterbacks. The following year, in 2018, Jalen Hurts would be a second-string QB behind Tua, but would still be featured in the game. Alabama head coach Nick Saban grew frustrated after being asked about the QB controversy.
I think both guys are good players. I think both guys can help our team. All right, so why do you continually try to get me to say something that doesn't respect one of them? I'm not going to, so quit asking.
In 2019, due to the lack of playing time, Jalen Hurts would transfer to Oklahoma, where he would thrive in Lincoln Riley Willie's offense. He would go on to finish second in Heisman Trophy voting behind only Joe Burrow. But even with all these accomplishments, Jalen Hurts at the 2020 NFL Combine was still asked by several teams if he would consider switching positions. He would go on to be drafted with pick 53 in the second round by the Philadelphia Eagles. And Carson Wentz was still the starter at this time with former Super Bowl champion head coach Doug Peterson. And what was shocking is that Jalen Hurts was actually a third string in 2020 behind Sudfeld, a career backup. Later on, Carson Wentz would be benched ahead of week 14 and Jalen Hurts would get his first start in the NFL. But what was crazy is in week 17, head coach Doug Peterson made a controversial move. The Eagles had no shot at the playoffs and they chose to bench Jalen Hurts during the game against the Commanders. And they would go on to lose this game after Jalen Hurts had given them a lead.
They deliberately and intentionally chose to lose the game. That's what they did. And if they didn't, they should be offended.
Many players on the Eagles team were visibly frustrated by Doug Peterson's move. Everybody around the NFL was talking about how they tanked this game. Doug Peterson would eventually be fired at the end of the season and Nick Sirianni would become the Eagles head coach. Even though Jalen Hurts only appeared in 4 games during his rookie year, many fans were totally not sold on him. People were critical of Jalen Hurts as a passer, accusing him of missing easy reads, and many believe the Eagles would actually look elsewhere for their future QB in 2021. But after 2021, Jalen Hurts changed the hearts and minds of the NFL world. In 2021, the Eagles would play to Hurts' strengths and elect to be a run-first team. And what was even more shocking is through 8 weeks of the season, they had the least amount of rushing attempts by running backs since any team since the 2014 Jaguars. That is why Jalen Hurts had the most carries of any QBs with 97 total that year. He was second in QB rushing yards behind only Josh Allen. And even though he was only ranked 20th in passing yards with 3,402, he still had more than Lamar Jackson, who only had 2,882 passing yards with only 40 less attempts than Jalen Hurts. And in 2022, Jalen Hurts completely changed his game. During the NFL draft, the Eagles would trade for A.J. Brown from the Tennessee Titans. A.J. Brown, in addition to Hurts' former Alabama teammate Devonta Smith, would help Hurts become 10th in passing yards and 13th in pass TDs with 24 TDs. What's even more shocking is he did not drop in rushing production at all this year in 2022. He finished second in QB rush yards behind only Justin Fields. But Jalen Hurts had the most rushing attempts of any QB in the NFL with 141. But one must stop to truly appreciate how amazing this is. This really shows how different Jalen Hurts is than any QB in the NFL. From a durability and toughness perspective, no QB in the NFL is doing what Jalen Hurts is doing. Hurts not only had 52 more carries than Justin Fields last year, but he had double the rushing attempts of Josh Allen in 2022 as well. He also averaged 4.4 yards a carry while rushing. That means that Jalen Hurts is establishing the run like a running back while simultaneously being a top 10 passer in the NFL. When he first started, pundits were quick to criticize Jalen Hurts for struggling as a passer. They assumed his dual threat ability was too good to be true because that's usually the case. Lamar Jackson is the most recent example of that. But Hurts defies the odds and showed this past year that he can truly do it all. And NFL GMs are punching the air right now knowing that Jalen Hurts was selected in the second round of 2020. The quarterback position overall is transforming dramatically. Nowadays, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and even Joe Burrow are considered pocket passers, especially when compared to players like Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. Offenses in the NFL are becoming more simple, allowing college QBs to come in the NFL and instantly produce. Now coaches in the NFL will be looking in the later rounds for their next Jalen Hurts. And could you blame them? He's balling out in the Super Bowl. He's on top of the world. And if it wasn't for one BS flag, he could be a Super Bowl champion. There is supposed to be a loaded QB draft class in 2023. I want you guys to let me know in the comments below, who do you think is going to be the next Jalen Hurts? If you enjoyed this video on Jalen Hurts, let us know in the comments below and like this video if you have not yet, and make sure you subscribe if you want more NFL content like this from us. My name is WiFiWillie. This is WiFiWillie NFL. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.